Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas.
It was like viewing another species on another planet.
This is Emsolation.
I don't blame them if they don't feel safe. We're crossing lines.
We are not. It's all we've got in lockdown.
I am becoming you. It's like you possessed me.
I want to implement a safe word for my family. And I'll just shout at them, banana, banana.
You're in Emsolation.
Tick, 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 tick. Tick my box. Wow. To celebrate 500,000 downloads in 3 months, although we're at 550,000 now, we thought we'd do a Q&A session, and I'm going to need someone else to take part in that, and obviously it's going to need to be Michael Lucas. Congratulations.
I'm so honoured. Thank you.
This
Feels so good to be picked out of this wide field.
I know. I was thinking yesterday, God, what if he can't do it? What if he wants to have a life? What if he wants to go away? What if he? And then lockdown happened again. I was like, oh, okay, great. We've got another 6 weeks at least. So yeah, we wanted to give everyone a little bonus listen this week. I always get sent questions for you and I and Scotty B. So he's looking after the baby. So we'll answer the questions. First question for Michael Lucas came from Lauren. Lauren Newman, Emsolation listener Lauren Newman. And Michael, Lauren wanted to know your coming out story.
Yes.
Actually, I had about five people ask for your coming out story. So this is what the people want.
Yes. Well, Em was pretty much, she had a box seat for this whole experience. And we're talking mid-20s. And, yeah, there was a bit of a two-step process. I kind of have to start by saying I didn't really, even though, as you can probably tell from the content of this podcast, there were many, 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 many pointers that I might be of the gay. Musical taste. Being quite high on the list. I managed to trundle through until my mid-20s without really becoming ever infatuated with a guy. So I kind of didn't. I had girlfriends.
You had a very long-term girlfriend.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was sort of spliced around backpacking and moving around and everything like that. In terms of times where we were sort of in the one city, spending months together. It's not like you and Scott, put it that way. You're in a very different position at the time.
But I just remember kind of keeping tabs on you because we kind of lost contact for about 10 years after high school and I would keep tabs on you through our mums are friends. And when I heard, Michael's girlfriend and I always remember thinking to myself, what? Michael's girlfriend? And there was one time your mum called my mum's house and we were visiting from Adelaide and I was like, oh, hi, Joe. It seems like, oh, hi, Em. I said, oh, how's Michael? Has he got himself a nice boyfriend? And your mum was like, what? No, Michael's got a girlfriend. And I was like, oh, yes, of course he does. It was so confusing to me that you were a heterosexual. It just didn't work. So we were 27. I was 27. I was in the throes of terrible postnatal depression, living in Perth and doing breakfast radio. And I got a knock on my door and opened the door up, and lo and behold, one Michael Lucas was standing there who I literally had not laid eyes on since 1995.
Yeah. It was like the bit in Beaches when they meet in New York after, they've had their little Atlantic City childhood thing and now, boom, here we are, adults, and one of us is depressed. And the other one's very confused.
So we sit down and we start talking and you'd had a crush on a guy you were working with in Sydney from Basmark and you were very confused about those feelings. And I remember sitting there just thinking to myself, oh, come on, man. But I was also very conscious of how fragile you were, and being in a fragile state myself, I didn't want to push you, which goes against every part of my DNA.
I know. In retrospect, it's really amazing. And when I tell people this story, they always imagine that effectively you were standing on a small step ladder with a megaphone screaming in my ear, you're gay, and possibly playing Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody at full volume and sending off confetti cannons. But you really weren't. You were really accepting. And it is true. I somehow managed to stumble my way to 26, and it was only then that, it's really, because one of the tricky things in the pre-social media era was that when like you were gay, you didn't meet other gay people that much. And I managed to travel through university and everything like that. I just didn't really ever encounter gay people. And then finally I ended up in a workplace that did have a lot of gay people. And then it didn't take me long until an infatuation began. But I didn't know it was only one. And I didn't know. I even went to see a counsellor who said it might
Let's
just
talk about the counselor.
might just be for
my
one person.
God. The counsellor was effectively trying conversion therapy on you.
I think that's a little harsh. I just sort of, she was asking me, you've had girlfriends up until now. What were those relationships like? And but in retrospect, what she was saying was quite progressive. She was saying, sexuality is fluid, and you might be a straight person that has fallen in love with a man. You could be bisexual, but you could be, but she definitely didn't. I went in there hoping someone would just give me the answer, and she didn't. But mind you, neither did you. So maybe she was just treading gently. But ultimately, I decided I needed to. So I decided to do a big backpacking travel overseas to just sort of see if I could. I don't know, sort myself. Honestly, I think it was probably that I imagined, you know what? I'm going to go to Spain and I'm going to walk into a gay club and it'll probably all happen. And then of course, that is not what happens when you travel. I was lonely. It was torrential rain in Spain in particular. And in the end, I just missed everyone back home, including the girlfriend that I had not been together with for a couple of years. And I just found myself thinking, I miss her so much. And I'm lonely and I'm not particularly craving to be with men. So why would I, why am I questioning this?
Back in the closet he went, back in the closet.
Yeah, and Em was accepting. You accepted it.
I did. Like, you called me, I think you were in England. Were you in the UK? And you called me and you said, this person's here. And was she there? Did she come visit you?
No. We'd been in contact.
You've been in contact, that's right.
I decided to come back to Melbourne.
That's right. And then I got the other phone call. And you said, we're going to try again. I've really missed her. And I was like going, yeah. And I remember just thinking, just go gently with him. He needs you to be gentle. And so you did. You came back and then you and her kind of rekindled. And then not long after, I got another phone call.
No, really quickly. I came back and yes, and then was insomniac pretty much instantly. And then I'm compulsively honest, so of course I would just blurt out everything that was going on in my mind. And then yes, and so that was pretty much the end of it. So that was the out in.
Out in out.
No. Out in out. Although not really out. I mean, it was just out to my little workplace infatuation was not conveyed to the wider world.
No, not at all. And you did lock down with Adrian very quickly.
Oh, well, I know. Well, then I committed to, I'm just going to put myself out there and start dating. I'm going to make a concerted effort to just date guys from now on. And then some would say fortunately, and I say, obviously incredibly fortunately, but we did meet very soon afterwards at the premiere of the movie Australia, of all things.
Which you both worked on.
Yeah, totally. But we hadn't met each other during the making of it. We were at different ends of the process. Anyway, I was very, very lucky. I basically, it was about the third person that I was dating was all of a sudden the person I ended up marrying.
You've been with more women than men as a gay man.
It's true. It is true.
Well, there you go. There's Michael's coming out, going in, coming out story. But I mean, it's fair to say.
And the only thing I would take from it is truly Em's approach, as much as it seems funny that she took that approach, it doesn't help to tell someone their sexuality before their real wedding. And so it was a very emotionally intelligent response, and I thank you, Em. And also the other thing is genuinely, a lot of people sort of think, were you squashing it all down and hiding it?
No.
But sometimes it can take a while and for me at least, it was until there was an actual person that I was actually infatuated with. I just didn't. It's not like I looked at pictures of men necessarily and knew. I do know there are many gay men that I speak to that just absolutely knew from a really, really early age.
Yes.
And I wasn't in that category.
I mean, I knew when I met you when you were 11, but, I think coming out, the idea of telling someone they're gay when they're not ready or even outing them is kind of tantamount to assault for me. I just think it's so unfair and brutal and visceral. That's one of the things, because I have got so many gay friends. I mean, guys, don't worry, I speculate about people's sexuality behind their backs, but I don't
all the time. It's a favorite hobby.
In secret. I mean, like, gay. Everyone in my mind is gay until proven straight. But I'm very conscious of how each of my friends came out and the part I played in that. And a few of them were already gay, a couple of them weren't. And I think it's not your job to make people ready. It's your job to assist them in getting ready and then be there when they are. So,
I always felt immense sympathy and pain for Ian Thorpe, who was being told he was gay by the entire world from about 15 on. And that would have, because all it's going to do is, that just puts him in a position where he just can't explore it because.
But it didn't help when his management's response to how can we butch Ian up a bit was getting a Pearl sponsorship. I'll never forget. There's this whole thing, no, I'm not gay. And then the next thing, he's the face for a Pearl company and he's wearing a high, tight leather choker with one single stunning pearl on it. And I just thought, oh, bloody hell, this poor kid. But
he was just pursuing an interest.
I know. All right, well, good. That's that. Jamila.
And a fascinator. Don't forget the fascinator he was wearing that night. Anyway,
he was
continue.
wearing a fascinator. Oh, shit. Okay. Jamila has asked me what's my favourite...
Jamila as in...
No, not Jamila Rizvi, although she is our number one fan. She did post about the podcast the other day. Wonderful Jamila Rizvi. Another Jamila. She has asked me, what is my favourite memory with Michael? Well...
I'm intrigued by this.
Oh, it's easy. Walking very drunk through a vineyard in Tuscany in our pyjamas.
I've got footage of it too.
So I went to this charity ball, got really drunk and bid on a stay at a Tuscan villa. And so a year went by and we all decided, okay, we're going to do it. So Michael, me, my parents, my family, we all flew to Italy and stayed in this villa. And it was just so amazing. It was like something out of a movie. Even watching 365 D&I took me back to that trip.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like when we were there.
But I just have this great memory of you and I walking. There was a vineyard at the back of the villa, because of course there was, and it was still quite chilly, and we were walking through and we were drinking local wine from the cups from the beautiful pantry, and the sun was setting. And
we had such good weather. It was so lucky.
Cackling, and I just that moment for me. I mean, we've had so many incredible moments together.
I know. I would say there's a lot of contenders for the crown in that one.
What have you got? What's your favourite memory with me?
I can't help but think, and it does involve Madonna, that lining up in that alleyway. We went to see Madonna's sort of secret. It was meant to be a midnight show, and it was like a 4 a.m. show, and we were in a pissing with rain alleyway for so long, but with all of these hysterical gays and lesbians and mega fans of Madonna. And it was just that we were so united in excitement, no matter how ridiculous it was. And she kept pushing it back and pushing it back, but we were singing the songs in the alleyway. We were sneaking away for cocktails, and it was ridiculous. And it would have only worked if you had another person there that was absolutely like-minded. If anyone had a flicker of, this is bullshit, it would have fallen apart in a second, but
it didn't.
Yeah.
So much of our friendship works because we're on the same level.
Exactly.
There's never a moment where you and I look at, like, one lets the other down in terms of level or energy. We'll always take it. Well,
hang on. No, there's sometimes where we can't get on. Like, we used to say that we had a curse when we would commit to big nights. Remember that?
Yes.
But we seem to be over that now. Maybe because we've given up the idea of a big night.
We could never.
But we used to have a thing where one of us we'd always go, it's going to be huge. Yeah. And we could never quite get on the same page.
No. One of us would always be asleep by midnight. But that's all right.
In fact, the most crushing example of this was the M. Rusciano Christmas party, like her company Christmas party. I was so exhausted because we were about to start shooting, and I was M had finished work for the year and organised drinks with Joel, and that's always a sign that it's going to be a big night. And then I came into it going, I can't believe it. I've got to work tomorrow, and I'm so tired, and I've still got another week to go, and I really need to. And then she slammed it, going, no, you called Malala, which that's a whole other thing.
We have to explain.
But then the twist was
Malala.
It comes from Booksmart, the movie Booksmart, and those two friends, that's their code word. And if one of them calls it, one of them cites Malala, then that you can only pull that out like a couple of times a year, and you've just got to do what the other one says. You can only pull it out in times of extreme emergency. And Em pulled it out and said that I had to get on board the cocktails and go. And so I did. I started forcing myself to do it, and then pretty soon got drunk. And then all of a sudden, Em collapses and calls Chella, gets her to pick up. She's gone. And then for some reason, I head off with Joel and Jack and Danny. And then I'm out till like 4 o'clock in the morning in some basement bar, and I had to work the next day.
Yeah.
I was a friggin' zombie for like, it took me 4 days to recover from that. And I did it for you and Rossiana.
Exactly. I feel like sometimes we are one, and you continued the spirit on. You took the spirit from me, and you inserted, and you were there representing
It's
me
like the
till 4
Olympic
a.m.
torch.
Oh, okay, good. Well, yeah, no, the Madonna show was that 4 a.m. in the alleyway was amazing.
And also, I do also share the Tuscany one, and partially I loved it because bizarrely, I'd got to that age, and even though I struggle with jet lag, I'd never explored using like sleeping medication to help me with it. And then I got to Tuscany, and I was like, what do you want? She's basically like the chemist getting out of the sleeping medication.
Pretty much.
And I'd never had it. And then I had this perfect 8-hour sleep, and I couldn't believe it. And so, when you're all like jet lagged and everything, you finally get the good sleep. And so the world just feels that little bit extra, I don't know, glittering or something like that. That was how I was feeling at the time as well.
Love it.
Em Rossiano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
All right, good. Now that does kind of lead us into the next question from Breezy. Hello,
I know 100%
Breezy.
who this is.
I don't think you do. Favorite
I
character
I really do.
yours or mine?
Breezy. I know. Look, I've got a good friend who I know is a listener of this podcast, who's Bree Colley.
I thought you meant you knew who I was going to say as my favorite, as her question.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so you do know Breezy. Favorite character from the teen film genre? Who's your favorite character from the teen film genre, Michael Lucas?
Is not going to be a surprise to anyone, really. And I thought about if I could give a cooler answer to this or a more innovative answer. Unfortunately, it has to be Brian, who was played by Anthony Michael Hall in The Breakfast Club, who is the nerd. He also appeared in 16 Candles, and his character name was Nerd. And simply because every kid of our generation grew up with The Breakfast Club, and you looked around and there was always, in fact, who were you out of that? Were you more your Molly Ringwald or your Ali Sheedy?
I was Molly.
You Molly?
I think I was Molly. I think
there
so.
There was no doubt.
I was friends
who
with the
I
nerds.
was.
Yeah. See, I never really identified with any of those movies because I didn't feel represented. Because I didn't really fall.
You weren't
in
a princess,
genre.
and you weren't a freak. You were. And they did, you know what? If anything, if they had written in like a sporty girl, you might have had a chance.
Yeah,
but they
maybe.
didn't do that.
Well, my favourite character is Anne Shirley from Anne of Green Gables.
Does that count? I don't know whether that counts. I mean, I'm not. Okay, sure.
That was a teen movie. Anne of Green Gables came out in the 90s when I was most searching for a heroine. And for me, when I saw her and the way she was and how hard she tried at everything and how everyone thought she was annoying and loud and just stop being such a try-hard, I remember watching that. It's the first time I kind of thought, yes. So I think Anne Shirley is,
You felt seen.
I did. And that Anne of Green Gables movie series was so important to me. I mean, I think it's the first time I really properly cried when Matthew died, and I understood the puffy sleeve penchant, and Marilla reminded me of my grandmother a bit, and I just really, and Diana, the shiny black hair, the best friend. I was always hanging out with those really beautiful girls, hoping that they'd be friends with me, so I'd be cool, adjacent cool. I just love those movies so much, and my dream is to go to Prince Edward Island. I want to see that. I want to go to Canada and do the Anne of Green Gables tour. I know there is one. I want to buy a tea towel.
And a novelty teaspoon.
Yes. But I have to say, there's a new contender for most recent teen film, and you did mention it. The character Molly from Booksmart, played by Beanie Feldstein.
Oh, that's true. In fact, yeah.
Those two together, if you guys have not seen Booksmart, find a way to watch it. It is the most incredible, it's one of my favourite movies now, of modern day movies, easily. And my whole family loved it, and I laughed. It's so hard to make a comedy now, because it's just like, I just watched that Eurovision film Fire Saga with Will Ferrell. It was it was a garbage fire. And I really wanted to love it because I am its target demographic, but it was just not good. I wanted to love it so badly. They had all the ex-Eurovision contestants in there. Conchita was there. I tried. In the end, I just had to really accept that it was not good. But so comedy's hard, but they nailed it in Booksmart. It was so good.
Yeah. Lady Bird is another one that I love as well. That also has Beanie Feldstein.
It's true. I think teen films now are even better than they were when we were kids.
But I will forever be, I mean, as much as I might have wished to have been a Ferris Bueller, I knew what I was. I was the nerd. I was Brian from The Breakfast Club. I was Anthony Michael Hall. The only thing I didn't know was that nerds would be successful and inherit the world in later years. And that has... That is a delightful discovery. And in fact, Anthony Michael Hall himself, Google image him, that little nerdy dude, he is now a meat truck who stars as he always plays cops and army officers and shit like that. He's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, God.
He is. Check him out. You would never believe it's him. Probably because he was body shamed for a solid 20 years there and he's finally just decided to take steroids or something. But whatever.
Good on him. All right, the next question is going to be a quick one. Chelsea Sila asked me, if 365 DNI, the musical, existed, can you give us a taste of what the hit song would be?
Oh, yeah.
Sex on a yacht, we're gonna have sex on a yacht. There'll be a drone, baby, let's bone, we're gonna have sex on a yacht.
There's a bit of a Shirley Bassey tone that's coming into your voice, which I appreciate.
And then there'll be a ballad. Are you lost, baby girl? I'm totally gonna kidnap you. Don't be sad, baby girl. My Italian castle has the best views. You've got a year to love me. If you don't, I'll let you go. Don't bother trying to flee. I've got henchmen surrounding the chateau.
You did manage a rhyme at the end. I mean, you're a veritable Lin-Manuel. Well done. Can't wait for that to hit Broadway.
100% watch 365 DNI the musical. That, for me, is a no-brainer win. So, thank you so much. Okay, last question to Michael Lucas. I knew we wouldn't get through many questions. Oh, shit. All right, last question. Okay, favourite post-2000 Disney movie, go.
Oh, difficult. I mean, with this... I'm going to be a purist of the genre, so I'm going to say it's not Pixar. I believe that this questioner is talking about Walt Disney Animation Studios very specifically.
Yes, me too. I believe that as well.
And so I'll just quickly give you the run of Walt Disney ones because it's quite a ride, okay?
Yeah.
The first one is a movie called Dinosaur, and I don't even remember what that was.
What?
But then we go Emperor's New Groove, fabulous. Atlantis, The Lost Empire, never saw it. Lilo and Stitch, okay. Treasure Planet, no. Brother Bear, no. Home of the Range, no. Chicken Little, this is really bad stage, no. Meet the Robinsons, no. Bolt, no. Princess and the Frog, we're coming back.
Yes!
Then Tangled. Then Winnie the Pooh, fine. Wreck-It Ralph, quite good. Frozen, epic. Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Moana, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Frozen 2. And for me, it must come down to Frozen and Moana, which are unoriginal choices.
Whoa.
Well, why? Have you got another one?
Well, I did the same. Obviously, we have the same brain, and I did the same thing. And Big Hero 6 really affected me. Yeah, I know.
Well, the Zootopia I was quite into as well.
No, I didn't like Zootopia. But I just think, Frozen 2 obviously had very spiritual consequences for me. You were in the theatre when I saw it. When we went without children, I got drunk and watched Frozen 2 in gold class with you and Adrian, and I was clapping and crying in the cinema. I became the person that claps in the cinema, which is only worse slightly by the person who claps when the plane lands.
I just want you to release a memoir called Emrasiano, Spiritual Consequences.
But then Moana had spiritual consequences as well.
Oh, so, apparently you have epiphanies every time you watch it. It triggers tears.
So you keep going. So yours was Frozen. Is that what you said? Frozen?
Or Moana. But I have to say, it's probably it's probably, I just have to accept that it's Frozen simply because I know it's boring. It's a boring answer.
No, be true.
I can sing so many of the songs and, oh, God. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there was a whole year where I was basically a 36-year-old, no, younger than that, but not much younger, who could wander around singing the complete score of Frozen. And
that's great.
Yeah, I can't go past it. Yeah.
Well, I guess, I mean, Big Hero 6 was probably, out of all those movies, the one that really kind of touched my heart and soul. And then obviously Frozen 2 is way superior to Frozen 1. Into the Unknown.
Look,
So
I'm
good.
questioning so much of that chaos story, sure. But
It was just, and then there were ice
Tangled
horses
has
and
an excellent witch. I'll give it that.
Oh, that Mother Knows Best. Hello.
Yeah.
That song is incredible, and I've been thinking about ways I can reprise that song in a show. But yeah, Moana for me has to take it out because obviously my son's obsession with it, and I have a deep connection with the lava monster who's really Takar, and I understand what it is to be misunderstood and have my heart stolen.
And amazing. It's just amazing songs.
Evil
I mean,
men.
that's. I think in the end, it's proving to me that what I really need is amazing songs because that's what Frozen and Moana have.
Correct. All right. Well, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed this bonus edition of Emsolation, the Q&A diaries. We have so many questions to answer and we only got through like 4. I knew it would happen. I said to you last night, we're not going to need many. Can talk, you and I. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Have a great weekend. If you're in Melbourne, sucks to be us. Michael?
Crack open the gin.
I take some comfort in the knowledge knowing you can't go to cafes anymore. At least you got some misery in your life. You have to write at home again.
Thank you on that beautiful thought. Thank you. I'm just going to say that came from the dead ovary. Oh, I'm not even calling back to this podcast. Anyway.
You can call back.
Committed listeners will know. She just finished
it.
on a dead ovary comment. And
it's worth it. It's an Easter egg for those who've already listened to Thursday's podcast. You'll understand the dead ovary callback. It's just a little treat for you. We're not even going to explain it.
either dead or happily retired. We're not sure.
Oh, she's retired. She's wearing turbans. She's got a gin fountain. She's got a gay man in a loincloth serving her food. That's where that ovary is. She's in Palm Springs with a mask on. She's loving life. All right. Talk soon. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.